Millennials, or Generation Y as they're also known, are anybody in the workplace 28 up to that 39. Now, millennials are the first generation where that key trait changed from respect to something else. If you listen to people like Simon Sinek or other people, they might tell you that millennials are entitled, or we've often heard the term snowflake. Let me just stop there and say, I don't believe it. I have a problem with it because it's fundamentally not true. Millennials are the generation that absolutely have changed, and the way that we need to engage them is very different to Generation X and Baby Boomer. But let me explain why, because there are two fundamental reasons. Reason number one is because of parents like myself and Baby Boomers. Reason number two is technology. So let's take each of those in its own merits. Baby Boomers and Generation X had quite a rigid, tough, rule-driven upbringing. We were expected to clean the floors before we went to school or walk the dog without any thanks or appreciation. It was just the way we were brought up. But we didn't want that for our children. And if you're a millennial watching this, you will get this. So when I wanted my kids to make their bed, I would say, please will you make your bed? Thank you. Please will you put the bins out? Thank you. Please will you walk the dog? Thank you. We brought millennials up with courtesy. Please will you do that for me? Thank you. In fact, when our millennials went to school and came back with that picture that they'd painted, that was quite frankly horrific and black and dark, we would say to them, oh wow, that's amazing, let's hang it on the fridge. So we made them believe that they could do or be anything they wanted to be. Millennials have been brought up with courtesy, which means it's only to be expected that in the workplace they want to be valued and appreciated. They do want somebody to say, thanks for coming in today, or thanks for a good job, or I see you, I really appreciate that. Not because they're entitled, but because Gen X and Baby Boomers have brought them up that way. It's social science. Of course they're going to feel that because they don't suddenly leave the home, go to work and expect that they'll just do it. In the same reason, millennials don't want you to tell them what to do and blindly let them get on with it. Because they've been brought up, when they went to school, it wasn't about winning at sports day, it was about taking part. Millennials are the first generation that have been brought up in collaborative classrooms, where they've been encouraged to have an opinion. They've been encouraged to get involved or to question why. So of course, millennials want to be part of the solution, not given the solution. So if you're a leader and want your team to do something and they're millennial, don't tell them what you want them to do. Ask their opinion, ask them what they would do and get them involved. The second part of that is technology. Millennials are the first generation in the workplace who don't really remember work before the internet. Now, some of the older millennials will remember being at primary school before the internet, maybe earlier senior school, but certainly in those work years, the internet was there, which means that actually millennials are the first generation to have been brought up with the power of information at their fingertips. In fact, their key trait is curiosity. So when a millennial says to you, how much money did your organisation take in 2017? And you, if you're a Gen X or Baby Boomer, go, you don't need to know that. That's above your pay grade. What you've effectively done is devalued their key trait of curiosity. So millennials will simply take to their keyboard Google, Companies House, and the information that you've just told them they can't get is there freely available to them. So millennials, you need to feed their curiosity. You need to feed their desire for information. Everything is available to a millennial, so what you have to do is make sure you're telling them the why, not just the what. That's how you engage with this generation. So value them, feed them information, and understand that they've been brought up with an opinion, but also that they've been brought up in an era of security and risk. Because millennials are the generation that were impacted by the Twin Towers. Generation X and baby boomers will remember skipping through passport control with a litre bottle of vodka or a man-sized can of hairspray and not even worrying about being strip searched or that long queue. Whereas millennials don't know a world at airports before the impact of security and risk. So you need to understand that in the workplace, that they need to understand actually what's the risk of doing something, or that security piece, because they've been brought up in that era. So if you want to engage your millennials, it's really simple. Feed them information, ask their opinion on what they would do in that problem, give them lots of opportunities to learn, and never, ever, ever tell them that they don't need to know. Because if they want to know, your job is to feed the information to them. And most of all, please say thank you to them, because they want to be valued and appreciated.